Hey everyone, this is the Game Underground. I'm your host, The Hunter. Episode 4, Season 1. Now, I've done a couple of things in the past of a couple episodes, talked to you directly about gaming news, and I wanted to talk to you about something a little bit, bring this show back to what it originally was, which was a game review. Technically this is going to be a hash mash of just things that I want to talk to you at a time. So, I want to talk about a game that recently, I wouldn't say recently. It's still pretty new, considering it came out in June of last year. It is a game that a lot of people friggin' had an orgasm about when it was revealed at E3, I think, the year before last. It's a game that I would say it's a game in a series, in a genre of games that I don't necessarily play a lot, or at all, for various reasons. It ain't that game that was somehow magically teleported to the screen. I don't know why it was. I had no control over that. I'm gonna find my production agency once I finally done with this recording. I want to talk to you about Animal Crossing New Leaf. This is a game in a genre of games that a lot of people don't play a lot of. Me personally, very few games in the life simulation genre appeal to me. I don't play Sims. I don't play. This is a bunch of life simulations. I mean, I have an interest in driving simulators a little bit, but that's another tough enough time. But back to this game. Animal Crossing is a game made by Nintendo, obviously. Animal Crossing is a life simulation game where you take the control of a player. Well, not a player, a character that moves in to a town. A randomly generated town that no one can predict what it's going to look like. Animal Crossing, when it was first introduced, was a first for a lot of reasons. Back in 1999, I think it was first introduced. In Japan, it was just a genre of game that no one had seen or probably even played. It's, life simulation is what the name entails. You're simulating a life that's not your own. And for a lot of reasons, this game can be boring, or it can be really interesting. Or sometimes, with my little quirk, there are some days that I have highs. I'll just get the screen. I have highs, and then I have lows. And this game is really freaking good. Let's get into life simulation. Life simulation, like I said, is just simulating of a life. Animal Crossing does that. In each game, you're simulating a life of a character that just moved into a town with anthropomorphic animals that you can either love or you can hate. And you're gonna have you can have like a picture or two of characters that I just find adorable, and I like them a lot. And you're gonna have characters who I don't like so much, or I have an attachment to. Those two right here. Depending where they are on the screen, one of them is a liked character that I like a lot because she's in my town, and another character who isn't. Due to some copyright things that I don't want to indulge in, I'm probably not gonna have a video showing for too long of the game. But you're simulating a life of a character that just moved in, as I'm repeating myself, and you're living a life. The first game, before I get into this one, because this is a little bit different, this is a whole different turn for Animal Crossing in general. In the first Animal Crossing, you're a kid who just moved away from home. You moved into a town, and pretty much you don't have a plan. It's the fact that you were so gung ho about moving out that you didn't really make a plan. You're just gonna get off the train at the first stop you came across, and you pretty much just move in, and you're living your life day by day, being indebted to a character a lot of people, especially me, cannot stand. Even though my reason for not liking Tom Nook is probably different than a lot of others. I don't know. I hate Tom Nook because I remember in Wild World, which is my first Animal Crossing game, that he was the main reason why I actually never played it for too long. Which is interesting in general. But in real life, I don't like being in debt for too long. Even though I'm already in debt as it is, because I'm out of college. But that's besides the point. I don't like being there for too long. And it seems like whenever I paid him something, this is back when I didn't know much about Crossing. The more I paid him, the more I would have to owe him in the future because I wanted to expand my house. Honestly, it's just human nature. You want to expand your house. Let me get this in from here. You want to expand your house, and he do that for you, but it didn't come for free. Every freaking time you expanded your house, the debt would just get extremely higher and higher and higher. And people in Animal Crossing know, for one thing, bells are extremely hard to come by. Even in those games, they were extremely hard to come by. I never played it for too much longer. I played it for, I think, a week after Christmas, because it was my sister's game. I played it, I think, a week or 2 weeks after Christmas, and I never played it again. I don't know what the game is. I honestly don't know what the game is. So, I don't even know. I think the town is just full of weeds, and the house is full of cockroaches and stuff like that. I don't know. I could care less. But this was the staple for the entire series. You move into a town, and you would just be indebted to a raccoon. It wasn't until Animal Crossing New Leaf where that actually kind of changed. You're still indebted, granted, you are still indebted to a raccoon, but for different reasons. New Leaf, you moved into a town, but apparently you were the mayor. Now, this wasn't actually stated in the Nintendo Direct when it was first introduced, but when not Nintendo Direct, it wasn't stated in the E3. Apparently, due to some circumstances, you would end up becoming the mayor instead of the person that was intended to be. You get a letter that confirms this too, from somebody who, a lot of people I think are inclined to believe that this letter is from Tortimer, but this isn't confirmed. We do know Tortimer retired, so this is why I'm still kind of, I don't know if it was Tortimer who sent the letter or not. But somebody was intended to become the mayor and they didn't. You ended up becoming the mayor. So you're making decisions for this entire town. You impact this town so freaking much that your town could be the worst place on earth or the best place in heaven. Like, it literally is that. You impact your world so much in this game. And I'm at 7 minutes. I gotta hurry this up. Like I said, you impact the world so much. In just basic general, I will say this much. This game, for Nintendo standards, is probably the best simulation Animal Crossing game I've ever seen. It looks so good on the 3DS. I mean, the XL was like one of those games where you couldn't tell how good or big it was until you had it in your hands and you saw it with your own eyes. That doesn't sound right at all. But it was like one of those games that you had to. Animal Crossing is a game that you have to play for yourself. You're not gonna be able to see how good this game is until you play it yourself. Animal Crossing is probably like one of the best games, like one of the best genres, one of the best titles that Nintendo holds. And because there's such a gap between Animal Crossing games, these games only get better and better and better because they are actually putting more time and effort into games like this. This game holds you over for so long, it's ridiculous. There's so much you can do in terms of just projects and stuff like that in this game. Like, they could take you, depending on how you want to approach it. I've had times in my game where I actually put a Puzzle Earth project in, and it took me maybe a week to pay it off. Because either I just didn't feel like paying it off one go, or it was just too expensive for me at the time. I mean, I've actually had times, like, I've done that. And I still got projects that I need to take care of. I mean, even characters return in this game. Like, you got characters from Animal Crossing Wild World, like Celeste, Blather's sister or cousin. That's something that's not really confirmed either. You got people like Brewster who don't show up in your town until you get the recommendation to build a cafe from somebody in your town. Not gonna say who, but I'm just gonna say, like, if you really want to play this game and experience it yourself, I would suggest, if you have a 3DS, pick it up. If you don't have a 3DS, is this game worth the buy? A little. I mean, over some of the games that I would consider buying, like Pokemon Y or X or Y, I would definitely buy a 3DS for that game. Pokemon is the best seller all around. That's something I would buy. I mean, Super Mario 3D Land, that's a definite buy. And like, only the hardest of the core of life simulation players would say that Animal Crossing is definitely a must buy for 3DS. I mean, it is a must buy, but I wouldn't say if you don't have a 3DS. I'm not sure if you'll get as much enjoyment out of this if you were just to buy the 3DS just to play this game. other games. Like, I mean, Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds, which is gonna be coming. There's gonna be a video on that soon too. But yeah, I would say it's definitely a must play if you have a 3DS already. But no, you wouldn't have a 3DS because the thing is selling out like hotcakes. Granted, it's not as bad as the Wii, where you couldn't find it in stores at all, which is kind of funny, but whatever. In terms of overall playability, I would give this thing a 9 out of 10. Basically, because I'm not the hardest of the core left simulation player, 9 out of 10 is definitely a really good score. It was definitely worth the time to play and to keep on playing too. I mean, if you guys want to see, a videos on this game, I would check out Conroy, because he did an entire Let's Play, a 30-day Let's Play of it on his channel. And granted, if it wasn't for that guy, I wouldn't have actually bought the game. I was aware of the game, but it wasn't. Like with a lot of games, I don't tend to remember. Like, they just poof. For some strange reason, I don't remember. And, you know, it wasn't until he did it near Christmas, which is a good time to buy that game, by the way. I didn't remember about the game until then, and, you know, he pushed me into wanting to get the game. Because I was on the edge of wanting to play it, but, you know, it wasn't like a game that I was gonna miss entirely and hate myself. So yeah, Animal Crossing, 9 out of 10. Definitely a good game. Guys who played Animal Crossing before, this is definitely a must get for you because you probably want the nostalgia. Because there is nostalgia in this game. There is some serious nostalgia in this game from characters that you've seen before, and I don't think there's any characters you haven't seen. You play this one Animal Crossing game, you'll pretty much remember everybody that you'll see in this game. So far, there isn't one character that I haven't, you know, seen before, either from seeing someone else played or playing Wild World. I'm trying to think, is there any character that you know? No, I think I've seen just about everybody who I've seen who was supposed to be in this game at this point. The only two characters I think would be two alpacas that you'll see in this game, and they'll be there on day one, actually. Day one, they'll be there. Granted, you only be able to talk to the one alpaca while the other one's sleeping. I said too much, but guys, this is a definitely 9 out of 10. I think I've seen some reviewers give this thing a 10 out of 10, or even 5 stars, or 4 out of stars. I'm giving a 9 out of 10 because, like I said, I'm not the hardest of the core of life simulation players. If I was, I think this game would be guaranteed a 10 out of 10 without any discussion. But for me, 9 out of 10. This game is definitely worth the buy. It definitely fills in boring spots when I'm not doing much of anything. So it's definitely something that, you know, it's a commitment to play this game, mainly because, this is not to scare anybody, but it is definitely a commitment to play this game, because once you start, either two things will click in your mind. I gotta play this every day, or two, I'm gonna play this game for at least a year at the most, and probably forget all about it. Meaning, you know, everybody in my town, all those friendships that I made in this virtual realm, will have meant nothing after a year. That last part is really sad, but it's true. As gamers, new games come out and we just move on. Animal Crossing is the last simulation game, and you live day by day. The only way to fast forward that to live the most days would be to mess with your clock. But as interesting as it is, fast forwarding your 3DS clock is the only way to cheat in this game. It is the only way. I've never seen anything other than that. Just messing with the clock is the only way to actually cheat this game. And that doesn't really do much for you other than give you another day to play around in. So to me, it ain't worth it. The fast forward the clock. So we're about to be at 15 minutes here, folks. I'd say thanks for watching this episode of Game Underground. I hope you enjoyed this little look into Animal Crossing, because this is a great game. I hope people buy this game. Not based on my recommendations, just Conroy mostly. I don't have any influence on people on why they buy games. So, hope you enjoyed this episode, and play Animal Crossing. That's what all I gotta say. Play this game if you have 3DS. If you are an Animal Crossing fan, definitely get this game. Nostalgia. That's all I'm gonna say.